Hi, my name is Wendy. I'm the mother of Corporal Brandon Meyers. He died by suicide June 28, 2013. And since then, I've been running a car show called Brandon Meyers Memorial Car Show. I raise money for dogs, for service dogs, for our veterans. It stops them from dying by suicide. Every day we lose 30 to 35. And with having a benefit like this, and enjoying all the cars, meeting new veterans, making connections, we can save one vet at a time with one pet. So please enjoy the next video.
Hi, my name is Clay Nelson. My wife's name is Ann. My mom and dad bought this car brand new in March of 1960. I was 18 years old at the time. Now I'm 76. So we've had lots of fun in this car over the years. I remember the first day we took delivery of it. Well, let me back up a little bit. We bought it from a dealer in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, Hunt and Tufty Company. They don't exist anymore. But I was back in Sioux Falls a couple of weeks ago. So we drove by the old dealership, and now it's a tire company. So the dealer doesn't exist anymore, but it's still being used for automotive purposes.
Sure.
The day my mom and dad took delivery, well, let me back up a little bit more. The first time we saw the car was in the warehouse of the dealership. The next time we went to look at the car, it was in the showroom. And there was another couple bargaining for the car at the same time my dad and mom was bargaining for it. And my mom and dad must have won the battle because they ended up with the car. What they paid for it, I don't know. They never did disclose that to me. But I remember the window sticker was right around $4,000. Unfortunately, they didn't keep the window sticker. And back then I was 18 years old. I didn't know anything. I wish they would have kept the original invoice and the window sticker and all that stuff. But I was able, speaking of documentation, I was able to find the build sheet for the car. I was talking to another Mopar collector out east one day, and he said, stick your hand up behind the glove box, reach way up and around, and that's where they put them. Sure enough, that's where it was.
Wow. Let's talk about a little bit of this chrome, this incredible detail.
Okay. Well, the 57, 58, and 59 Dodges were had essentially the same design, the same fin design, but each year they made changes. All this here is what you call pot metal, and it's chrome. And this is chrome. The bumper is chrome. This here is stainless steel, and it goes into a pot metal chrome piece.
Oh, wow.
So before I put the thing together, I polished all the stainless.
Right.
So it comes up to about the same shine as the chrome.
Right.
But chrome naturally is more shiny.
Right.
And then as you go around, these pieces here, this piece here, it's called a custom royal Lancer. And you can see the Lancer, the Knight, and the Lancer.
Right.
These are really difficult to find. I was able to find both of them over a period of time.
Right. And it looks like the car has it been repainted at all, or is this?
It was repainted in 1980 by a gentleman out in Yorkville, Illinois. He's still in business. He did a very nice job. I want to tell you about this piece here. It's a stainless steel piece, and it's interchangeable between doors. In other words, it fit either the right or the left door.
Okay.
It took me, I'd say, a good solid 30 years to find it.
Oh, wow. Really?
And I happened to call a guy who's on eBay a lot. He sells a lot of Mopar parts, and I gave him a call and I said, would you happen to have blah, blah, blah? He said, let me look. Yes, I do. I said, bought. Sold. Sold American.
Sure. And look at this grand interior.
The interior trim is pretty much original. As you can see, I have the what they call the press kit for it. This was released to the press when the car came out.
Right.
And I have the parts book and the service manuals. I also have an owner's manual, but I didn't bring it.
Okay.
And I got this picture. It's black and white, but it's an exact duplicate of the car. You can see it's yellow and white just by the contrast.
Right.
And it's a factory photo. It's a Chrysler photo.
There you go. Huh. Wow.
The interior, the insert material, and the black material is original.
Oh, is it? Okay.
The yellow, for some reason, broke apart a little bit. But what do you expect? My dad drove it 150,000.
Wow. Only. Wow.
And so the yellow has been replaced. But as you can see, the yellow, it was designed to, back then they tried to coordinate the interior with the exterior color. Now there's a story about these antennas. You can see there's a dual rear antennas on the car. But there's also, if you look at the front fender here, there's also an antenna here.
Yeah, right. What's going on there?
When my dad and mom took delivery of the car, my dad said, where's my rear antennas? That's what I wanted. I wanted the rear antennas. Well, they had already hooked this up.
Right.
So the rear antenna was an option that was put on by the dealer.
Okay.
So they put on, and they're not connected.
Gotcha.
But the right front, the front one is connected.
That is a great story.
Yeah, so it's a cute little side light.
Did you talk about the size of the engine?
I can talk about that. In 1959, Dodge put the 361 cubic inch 4-barrel in the Custom Royal Lancer. It was the standard engine. You could get an optional 383. It was the first year for the 361 and the first year for the 383. This is a standard 361. But the optional engine was a 383 and the car was called a D500. Now this is rare, but the D500 is super rare. I gotta tell you, my daughter was telling me, she was watching the Barrett Jackson auctions.
Right.
And recently, very recently, within the last 2 or 3 weeks, and she said, Dad, a D500 Custom Royal convertible went across the auction block. Guess what it sold for? Over $200,000.
Wow, that's sweet.
Don't I wish this was worth that?
Right. Can we open up the...
Yes, we can.
And you'll clear the curb there?
I can clear the curb, and I got to explain something to you here. From 1956 to 1964, Chrysler, with their automatics, had a push button.
Right.
And there's the button for neutral, reverse, drive, first, and second.
Wow.
It's called a torque flight automatic.
That's incredible.
Chrysler, like I said, Chrysler used this setup from 1956 to 1964. They didn't voluntarily quit using push buttons. The government forced them to go to a more conventional shift pattern on the column or on the floor.
Right.
But so the government forced them out of the push button. But I'm telling you, it's one of the best systems in the world. It's out of the way of everybody. It's only accessible to the driver. And in the owner's manual, it says, if you accidentally hit reverse when you're driving, the transmission automatically goes into neutral. As a kid, I had to test that. I was about 19, 20 years old. I can tell you exact place in Sioux Falls that I did that. I was going about 30 miles an hour. I hit the reverse button. It went into neutral. One other thing, people are familiar with the park feature.
Okay.
With these, they didn't have park. They just had neutral.
Okay.
So what you had to do is use the handbrake to lock the car in place.
Okay.
So you had to have an operational handbrake.
That would make sense.
Yep.
And let's talk about these beautiful brake lights and decoration back there.
Well, the one thing I'm rather proud of is the dealer's tag is still on here.
Right. Wow.
Hot and Tufty, Sioux Falls.
Yeah.
So when I had the car redone in 1980, I had this carefully removed, and then of course they painted it. Well, we removed all the chrome, and then after it was repainted, we put everything back, and I made sure. I should open the trunk up.
Okay.
You get several bodies in here. I think you got at least 3 bodies in there, maybe and a small kid up in the corner there.
Wow, look at that. That's amazing. That's amazing.
And this particular wood block, which you were supposed to use it when you were changing tires. This came from the factory with the car when new.
Oh wow. That is so sweet. That is so sweet. And then do you anything particular about these brake lights?
Well,
I've never seen that on any car before like that.
What it is, the top light is the tail light, when you turn the lights on.
Okay.
And the brake light. And then the backup light is here. So when you push the reverse button, these lights come on. The backup light.
That is nice.
Now, Dodge had a 2-light system. I don't know, the DeSoto of this era had 3 lights, where the tail light and the brake light had 2 lights, and the backup light was single, but the Dodge just had 2 lights.
Right. And did you mention to me earlier that you took out a certain lady in this car?
Oh, yeah. My first date with my wife was in this car. It would have been November, what date?
1966.
November what?
No, 1966.
November 1966.
And she's still smiling. I like
She's
that.
still smiling.
She wants
And
the car. She wants
I wanted to impress her, but I think she was more impressed with me than with the car. Because my next date was in my old 1947 Dodge, which I still have.
Oh, neat. Wow.
So I could tell stories about that one too.
Hi, I'm going to introduce you to Peggy Moran. She runs 1Pet1Vet. She's the trainer. She could tell you a little bit more about it with all the funds that I raised that I'm currently giving to them.
Hi. Well, so thanks to donations from Wendy, we've been able to place service dogs in homes, and so far to date, just since last year's car show, 2 of the dogs Wendy donated have saved 3 lives of veterans, so we're really appreciative of that. These dogs make a huge difference in the lives of veterans. Through donations, we are able to purchase puppies from a reputable breeder, and then we begin their training, which takes between 18 and 24 months. It costs between $15,000 and $20,000 per dog to go from start to finish, and none of the costs are absorbed by the veterans who receive these dogs from 1Pet1Vet through donations like yours. So it's been very meaningful to us to be invited here and to be a participant and a recipient of your car show. So thank you so much. In Brandon's honor, I know this is making a huge difference for other veterans. The reduction in rate of suicide drops from 21% over the statistic for civilians to normative to civilian suicide rates. So a 21% reduction for PTSD veterans that have a service dog is profound. That's a really meaningful difference. So again, these dogs change lives by going out and facilitating veterans entering into public spaces where they may be too stressed to go on their own, re-entering into relationships with their families and others, and having company when they go home, having the unconditional love of a dog. So many of the tasks that they perform make the difference between life and death, literally. So thank you all very much.
And just one last note. People hear the term 22 too many a lot. That means 22 suicides from our military veterans every day. That is actually a wrong term. It's actually 30 to 35 because the states only count 23 states. And if you take the whole number from the start of the war, around 9,000 have died killed in action. Over 112,000 have died by suicide.
And that's an unnecessary number.
We can stop it.
We can, and service dogs are really shown to make a huge difference. So please help support any service dog organization for veterans with PTSD, if not ours. Thank you.
Thank you.
That is where the proceeds are going, to help train service dogs for veterans suffering with PTSD. So we actually do have 1Pet1Vet here with us. We have Eric and Peggy with us, along with a couple of special guests, a couple of the service dogs in training. So it's glad to have them here. And we're actually going to have them tell you guys a little bit about what they do, some of the dogs that they work with, kind of how they operate, and we'll go from there. So first up, we have Eric here with 1Pet1Vet.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming out today. We really appreciate your support, and especially for Wendy. This is the second year that we've partnered with her. Her and her volunteers for putting this on. It really makes a big difference in what it is that we do. What we do is we train service dogs for veterans that are diagnosed with PTSD. And the reason we do this is part of the reason why we're here, in remembrance of Brandon, is for veterans that are suffering with PTSD and depression, to help bring down the number of veteran suicides, which, as a lot of people may know out here, are at basically epidemic proportions. So what we do through the training of the dogs allows the veterans to live a better, more fulfilled life through the love of the dog, and also they get to spend a lot of time around other veterans that are in the same situation as them, so it offers them that support that way also. Again, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out. You can check us out on 1pet1vet.com or 1Pet1Vet Facebook page to see what we do. You'll see pictures of the veterans and where your donations and stuff are going, so you can keep track of us that way. We have a tent set up right over here. If anybody, you're more than welcome to come by. We have a couple of our dogs up here, service dogs in training, and a future mother of service dogs, Blossom. And you're more than welcome to come by and check those out and ask us any questions that you have about training or the program itself, if you know anyone who might be interested or who may need this type of service. It is 100% free to the veterans in the program. We are a 501c3, fully funded by private donations. So we appreciate you coming out, and a big thank you to Wendy again for making this all possible. Thank you.
As you guys heard from 1Pet1Vet, it is an extremely important cause to all of us. The estimates are roughly 22 veterans per day commit suicide. Obviously, our goal is to stop that trend and get that number down to zero. So anything you guys can do is definitely appreciated. We appreciate everyone coming out with all their cars, everyone coming out to check out all the cars, donate. Lots of raffles, silent auctions still going on up front. You guys still have time to cash in on all that. Let's continue having a good time.
Please, please, please subscribe. We appreciate it.